I say! Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Hello, good evening. Sava here from Football Heritage TV. Hope everyone is well. Fabrizio Romano, about 4 weeks ago, must be 4 weeks ago, I remember it was just coming into the 1st of August, said Spurs are in for a very long month, a very busy month. And I remember me being one of the cynical people who said, oh, God, no, don't be silly. Don't be silly, Fabrizio. This is Spurs. We're not going to do a lot. In that time, what has happened? In that time, Harry Kane has left to go to Bayern Munich. Mickey van der Ven has joined Tottenham Hotspur. Right? Harry Winks had already gone. Alfie Devine has gone on loan to Port Vale. Joe Rodon has gone on loan to Leeds. And that leads us to where we are today with a number of conversations going on between Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and other clubs to bring in players and, more importantly, to get rid of players. And we're going to have a look at some of those players tonight. It's absolutely crazy what is going on in football right now. Let's start by saying hello to a few people. So good afternoon, evening or morning, depending on wherever you are in the world. Big up to channel member Phil Moss. Said, good evening, Sava. Over 100 waiting with over 30 minutes to go. Yeah, crazy times. Crazy times. How I used to change from when I needed 20 people to be in to make it worth watching. Hope you are well. BT is in the house asking people to click the like and subscribe. I won't be doing that. He can. Paul said, we're doing it again, Sava. Panic Station FC. We're going to get into it. Potato Stew said, hello, everyone. Hope people are well and are looking forward to the stream. I'll just do a few more hellos and then we will get into the first of many players we're going to discuss tonight. George has said Ange might play with a false nine. Does that work in the Premier League? I mean, it won Spain a Euros and a World Cup, but hey, we don't know. Ads has said Sky Sports announced Ange said Ndombele will leave this summer. He is one of the players on the list that we are going to talk about. It's interesting, isn't it? It's all coming down to the last minute. Not like Spurs at all, is it? To wait and then go, oh, hang on, we better do some business. Daffer Shah said Johnson for 50 million is a complete joke. Kim Min-jae was only 43 million. Kim Min-jae was not homegrown and British tax, was he? Corey Boy, big up to you. Channel member said, hey. Oh, how are we all doing on this bank holiday? Happy bank holiday to all of you. Hope everyone is well. Ian Satwick is in the chat. Said, big up Savra in the chat. George, false nine can work, as City have proved before. Craig Henshaw, good evening. Sorry to you. Big up to you. Random YouTube commenter. Big up to you, my friend. I said, we've told there'll be a lot of movement, but we haven't seen any for nearly 3 weeks. It's happening, my friend. It is happening. Strap in for a very, very long 4 days. I make it 4 days and just over 3 hours. What's everyone else make it? 4 days and just over 3 hours, 2 hours to go in the window. Random YouTuber. Yeah, I know what you meant. Don't worry, you're all good, my man. Ian Smith, good evening to you. Big up to Mark Cook, channel member. Josh Gang, good evening to you. He's still buzzing from the Liverpool game. Darwin Núñez at the brace. Got me a couple of points in my fantasy league. Belaine Dev, big up, always a massive supporter of the channel. Said, don't forget to smash the likes as you come in, guys and girls. Don't you be stealing my line. The old guys and girls. Paul has said, excitement building in the building. Big up to you. Big up to absolutely everyone. John Ellis Hall is here. Big up to John. I hope you're well, my friend. Where to start? Just quickly, Paul Davis, channel member in the house, said, evening, Sava, transfer deadline day is looming. And the $1 million question, or any ins or outs. I keep hearing it's going to be a busy few days. Let's hope it's the news we want. I think it's going to be a manic 3 or 4 days. I really do think it's going to be a manic few days. Good evening to Nige Pure Coys. Said good evening, Sava and the chat. 4 days to go. Absolutely, 4 days to go. Zeddy has said Liverpool play Gakpo and Jota as striker. I think we'll do the same with Son Brennan. I just think that Gakpo and Jota are a little bit better than those two. Just my opinion. Lee has said, evening, Sava. Hoiberg to United is the latest rumour. We're going to talk about it in a few seconds. Of course, that's where we're going to start tonight, so don't worry about that. Jimmy, F and Dombele and sign a striker. Big up to you. Big up to the big boss man. Hope you are well, my friend. East London Gooners in the chat. It's a good evening, Sava. Nothing you support that trash. Sorry, good evening, Sava. Nothing you support that trash bag of a club down the road. Me and my boys still love watching your show. Oh, big up to you and your boy. I hope you're both well. John George said, how many changes would you make for tomorrow's game? We'll get to that as well. Harry Baker said, evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Nicholas Collison has said 4 hours, 4 days, 3 hours and 51 minutes. There we go. 4 days, 3 hours and 51 minutes. Is it midnight on Friday that it shuts, or is it 11 p.m.? Potato Stew is in the chat and said, do we prefer players going out before players coming in? I think at this stage, you've just got to have a mishmash of both. Let's start, people. There is only one place to start, isn't there, tonight? After some of the noises we've been hearing in the British press today, we've got to start with this guy, haven't we? Hoiberg. So, Hoiberg tonight, the reports that are coming out from a number of publications. By the way, if it is 11 p.m., if it is, then I think what we've got to say is Nick Collison is in the mud again, as always, Barry. You're in the mud, my friend. It would make it 4 days, 2 hours and 51 minutes. But big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Hoiberg, right. Rumours tonight that Manchester United, of all clubs, are looking at Hoiberg. Looking at Hoiberg. What do we make of that? Listen, this is a guy. Listen, I feel like I use this line more than any other line. This is a player that really does divide the proverbial opinion. Some people seem to think he's great. Other people seem to think he's absolutely rubbish. What do you think? Let me know. I'm of the opinion that we can do a lot better. I'm of the opinion that he is a very limited player, but he does work hard. I would let him go. I think the first question that a lot of people will have will be, can we replace him this late in the day? Sorry, someone's just sent me some football news. Oh, it was, what I knew, that Lukaku has signed on loan for Roma. So Lukaku going to play for Jose Mourinho. Hoiberg. I don't know. I'll be honest, I've never really watched him and thought, yeah, that's for me. Works hard, determined, gets his foot in. I don't know how good a footballer he is. And something that I've talked about many times before is, for me, you can have lots of hard workers, sure, which I think should be a given. And that's fine. But the clubs that go places, the clubs that win things, tend to be those with quality. And unfortunately for me, I just don't think this guy is quite good enough. That begs the question, why do Man United want him? What's your thoughts? Let me know in the chat. Why do Man United want him? Get any questions in. I'll try and answer as many as possible. I won't be able to get to all of them because there's a lot of you in the chat tonight. So big up to everybody already in the chat. And big up to Blaine Dev. By the way, it doesn't show on the screen, but Blaine Dev has just gifted 5 channel memberships to people. 5 channel memberships have been gifted by Blaine Dev. You are a true gentleman, Blaine Dev. So thank you so much for doing that. You really didn't have to, but it is much appreciated. So if you're not a channel member and want to be, Blaine Dev is giving away 5 of those bad boys. So please feel free to grab them. I don't quite know how that works. I think they're just randomly collected. But hey, thank you so much, Blaine Dev. That is wonderfully kind of you. And I've seen you in other people's chats also being very kind. So thank you very much for everything you do for this community. MV Joker Davis has said, if we sign a winger, I'll take it as a win. Well, listen, we'll get to that later. Do we need a striker? Do we need a winger? Most people are saying we need a striker. It feels very, very strange. Nick, flip-flopping again, retracting, flip-flopping. It's all the same thing. Thought you were out for dinner. Go and have dinner. Corey Boy has said, just go. Hoiberg, please, you're dump. Wow, I mean, that's a bit harsh, but okay. Christian Felle has said it makes sense. Hoiberg is so underrated. Oh, not sure about that. Peter wants to keep Hoiberg as backup. Do you know that the one thing that I'm so intrigued in is every year I see people going, oh my God, Levy's let us down. What are the signings going to be? Why aren't we changing the squad? Yet every single time someone comes in for one of our players, I'm seeing fans say we should keep them. Lo Celso, keep. Hoiberg, keep. Reguilon, keep. Tanganga, Sanchez, let's keep. Brian Hill, keep. Perisic, keep. Like, at what point do we sell any of these footballers? I'm just a little bit confused. When do we actually sell any of these players and recycle? I feel like we're very, very precious over very, very average footballers. MV Joker Davis has said sell if the right price is met. Ten Hag has coached him before. Okay. Yeah, Ten Hag worries me at the moment. Corey Boy has said, in the words of Ted DiBiase, everyone has a price. Ian Smith, no Ribena tonight, just on the hard water tonight. Big up to you. Henry Wright said, Fred TV. Wow, that's a scary picture of Henry. Said, I agree we can do better, but I actually think he's a fairly solid option to bring off the bench like the other day. Let me propose this. If you could get 35, 40 million for Hoiberg, though, and you could freshen up the squad again, wouldn't you do it? Wouldn't you do it for sub players? I just think you've got to. Ryan has said, what happens if Bissouma or Sarr gets injured? I mean, haven't we got about 8 centre mids? Like, how many do you need? If Bissouma or Sarr gets injured, Bentancur's there, Skip's there, Lo Celso's there. I mean, do we need 7 or 8 centre mids? Bobby K, I said, big up Sava and everyone in the chat. Big up to you, Bobby, out there in Canada. Just quickly, let's go over to Mario 2012 2012 has become a YouTube member. Big up, Mario. Thank you so much for the support. And as I say to everyone who joins the channel member, we will be doing channel member shows every 2 weeks. We did one on Friday, and we'll be doing another one in a couple of weeks. Okay. So I just need to sort my camera out just quickly. Is that working? Sorry, I don't know. There's a glitch on my camera. I'll have to change that afterwards. Okay, hopefully you can see me. It's just flashing on my end. Blaine Dev has come in. So big up to Mario. Big up to you. And Blaine Dev has said, Hoiberg can go. Gives room for Bentancur to come back. We have plenty of midfielders. And if we can get 30 million to the deal, I'll tell you what, this is the problem. It's exactly where I am. Everyone seems to want to keep all of our players, but then they'll have a go at Levy at the end of the window and say, why didn't you bring in more players? Some of them have got to go, right? Some of them have got to go. They really, really do. Loads of comments. I'll try and get to as many of them as possible. Batu has said, I still like Hoiberg and think he can do a job. Okay. Henry Wright said, Fred said, definitely some others should be out the door first. I think the problem is football doesn't work like that. You know, it doesn't work that, okay, these are the players we should get rid of first. We might not get the money for those players. We might not get the offers. If somebody's offering me 35, 40 million for Hoiberg, I'm biting your hand off for a sub midfielder. Corey Boy said, is Solomon really going? I don't know. I don't think so. I've not seen anything about that. Lukaku is going to mud his haters with Jose. We'll see. Uncle Disraeli, yeah, but the problem, look, I think we're doing that thing again, aren't we? If Skip doesn't have people offering to buy him, then it's not really a conversation, is it? Fadan has said, I really hope we get Ansu Fati and Vlahovic. Sam Jones has said he won't sit on the bench when he could start for a team. Nige Purecois has said, Man United are looking desperate. If they signed Hoiberg and Reggie, I'd happily see them go. Then we should sign Amrabat. Well, yeah, listen, I'm surprised that Man U are not getting that deal done. I don't know what's going on there. Mark Cook, channel member inside the house, has said, smash those likes, people, for the show. It's free for everyone. Yeah, I'm not going to be asking, but this guy is asking for me. Big up to you. Hope you are well. MV Joker Skip. Joker Davis has said, we have Skip. Random YouTube commenter said, I don't rate Hoiberg much, to be honest. In his small cameos, he hasn't been bad. Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. I'd refresh, though. I would absolutely refresh. I really, really would. Mark has said, Corey boy, some trolls in the chat, mate. So I don't know what that was about. Nordic Spurs said, if we can get a replacement in time, then keep PEH. Yes, I would see both of them go. Both of them aren't good enough for me. I would see both of them out the door. Absolutely. Went at Moss and said, I can only see him being a squad player. Is that for Spurs or is that for Man United? Andy has said they're desperate. Loves music and said, come on, guys, let's annihilate the like button. Big up to you. Bigging up to all the like crew. So far, 139 likes. So big up to all of those people. MV Joker Davis has said they're struggling in midfield. Yeah, it just seems strange, doesn't it? It just seems strange to me. Reno has said, bro, if they want to spend 50 plus on Johnson, just break the bank on Eze, but they won't. Imagine the link between Maddison and Eze. Yeah, I just think Eze is going to be so much money. I truly believe he's going to be so much money to get away from Palace. Big Boss Man has said, because he is a useful player for a squad to have, he is far from a bad player. Atletico Madrid want him as well. Well, Atletico Madrid don't want him that much that they put in an offer, do they? I just think we're doing this thing again. I tell you what, everyone that wants to keep all these players, keep Lo Celso, keep Hoiberg, keep Sanchez, keep Reggie, keep Perisic, keep this player, keep Spence, keep... When the new players don't come in, we can't complain because you want to keep everyone. Not you, Big Boss Man. I just mean everyone in general. It's the way of the world. If you want players to come in, you've got to get players going out. Patrick Cahill has said, if Richarlison was still playing at Everton, would you be happy signing him now as our striker? If Richarlison was still playing for Everton, no. I think he's awful. I didn't want him last year. I don't want him now. I never wanted him. Never been a fan. Why do you? Would you? I didn't like him at Everton. I thought he scored a couple of good goals, but other than that, I don't think this guy's a good enough footballer. Chris Peters has said, Man U wants Hoiberg to babysit Casemiro. Yeah, they're in trouble, Man U. They don't look right, but hey, that's a them problem. Duchenne has said, big up, everyone. Big up to you as well. Cash has said, many people are only talking about attack. We can't forget about the attack. Listen, we're going to talk about the attack soon, I promise you. United Spurs of America, Jacob, has said, big up to you, Jacob. I hope you're well, my man. Maron has said, I will add Reguilon and Ndombele to Hoiberg, free in the price of one. Me too. I only want to see really competent footballers at this football club now. I'm seeing a lot of very average players constantly being defended by fans. I can only assume they don't want any success at this football club. Cash has said we can't forget about the defence. Is that what you meant to say up there? I hear what you mean now. Anthony Rose has said, Sava, why are we paying 50 million for Johnson when we could pay 70 million for Pedro Gonzalez from Sporting? Much better player. We'll come to the forwards in a bit. I just want to get through the Hoiberg conversation first. Brian OS has said, the number one priority for me is a backup centre-back and a bus for 8 out of the door. I hear you. We do need some more attacking options, I think. Sky Sports News is going mad. There's news breaking everywhere. Obviously, the biggest news so far this hour is that Lukaku is signing for Roma on loan from Chelsea for the year. Makes sense for both parties, I think. Mark has said there is players in the first team that are more deserving of getting shifted out than PEH. Cough Dyer. I agree, but I feel like everyone thinks this is Football Manager. You've got to have the bids for the players. You can't just say this player's got to go. You've got to have the bids for the players. You've got to have the bids for the players. Can't just say one's going to go, one's not going to go, can you? We really can't do that. Blaine Dev has said the channel members are random guys and already been assigned. Big up to those who are randomly selected. Big up If you have been randomly selected, let me know so I can feel my hay fever really, really kicking in. Let me just sneeze 1 second. No, it's not going to. No sneezing's going to come. No. I do apologise. No sneezing's going to come at this time. Captain Cockrell has said PH is okay, nothing special. A squad player. Yes, I agree. But every 1 second, I really feel like a sneeze is coming. I really feel it. Come on, sneeze. No, I can't. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't force a sneeze out. I apologise. It's going to come just when I don't want it to come. Maron has said give them Dyer also. Yeah, let's get rid of Dyer. No one wants Dyer in the team. Dan Tyler said sell Hoiberg and get Amrabat in. I mean, can you imagine selling Hoiberg for 40 and bringing in Amrabat for 40? That would be marvellous business, that would. I'd love a midfield of Amrabat, Basuma and Maddison for sure. Logan has said, are they expecting Bentancur to return sooner than expected? I don't know. The last I saw that he was back in training and it was going to take a little bit of time for him to get up to speed, which would be obvious, but I haven't heard any more since. Derek Jones has said 40 million for Hoiberg. I'll drive him there for that money. I agree. I completely agree with you. I think a lot of people, we seem to do this a lot. We really do champion bad players. And then what happens is, not bad, that's the wrong word. What happens is then when we actually do buy better players, people will go, oh God, look how good this guy is. Like, yeah, of course, but we've been championing bad players the whole time. It's like all these people championing Richarlison. Just think of the centre forwards you've seen at Tottenham. Whatever age you are, think of the centre forwards you've seen at Tottenham Hotspur. Think of the centre forwards you have seen. Right, we've seen lots and lots of centre forwards, haven't we? Lots and lots of centre forwards. And where does Richarlison rank amongst any of them? Canute, Defoe, Keane, Berbatov, Sheringham, Ferdinand, Kane, Son, even Chris Armstrong, even Stefan Everson. I don't rate Richarlison as good as any of these players. I could go on and on and on. Philly 2109 has said, I'm tired Sava with this culture of keeping average players and then fans expect us to compete. This is my point. This is what I mean, Philly. I thought I was one of the only ones. Like, we get people all day, every day in this chat, other chats saying, where's the signings? Buy the players, do this. And then you go, oh, hang on, someone wants to bid that for a player who's not in our first team. Oh, no, don't sell him. I don't know what we want. I really don't know what we want. I feel like loads of fans are just happy to sit and be mediocre. I truly believe that. It's a real shame, Philly, but big up to you. Hope you're well, my man. Daniel Turner said, I would sell Hoiberg, but not to Man U. Why? Why do you care where he goes? Why does anyone care where he goes? I don't understand. I really don't understand. But each to their own. Nana Hotspur has said every time we get close to finning the squad, the fans don't want to let them go. I'm sure Hoiberg has wanted to leave for some time. Why do we want a player that doesn't want us is odd. Nana Hotspur, completely agree. We constantly do not want to let anyone go. Like, it's madness. I would freshen up with so many of these players. Get in new bodies, get in new faces, new skill sets, new abilities. Hey, that's just me. Where were we? We were here. Ian has said, always get players in before you get rid of the dross. The new players give leverage to get the dross out. Ian, not with 4 days to go. It doesn't. With 4 days to go, you've got to do what you've got to do. Gift is off. Gift was never on, was it? If that's what you mean. It's been too quiet around Marcus Edwards. If they don't sign a striker, I'd take him gladly to rotate with Kulu. Marcus Edwards, anyone? What do you think? Terry O'Shea says, Sav, I think you'd find everyone would be happy to get rid, but as a small club, we sell to buy and have no plan on who we're going to buy. If we bought a decent player first, then people would want to sell. Terry, there's 4 days of the window to go. Like, surely now is the time you get that money in and then you go get someone. Go and test the market, get Amrabat, whatever you need to do. I just think we're just always full of reasons why we shouldn't sell any deadwood. Let's be fair. I think Hoiberg's done well for a couple of years, but No, we move forward. We're a different team now. We move forward. THFC Forever has said one more centre back, one more centre forward. We should be all good. Sell Dyer, Sanchez, Reguilon, Tanganga, Ndombele, Lone, Spence, Skip, and Hill. It's a lot of work to do in 4 hours, 4 days and 3 hours. Peter Spillane, how are you, my friend? I hope you're well. I said, evening, Sava. Spurs are reported to be interested in Mets forward George Mickhalteds, or however you say that. What are you thinking? I'm thinking that I'm sure I've seen a report tonight saying he's signing for Ajax. I'm sure I've seen a report seeing this guy linked with Ajax tonight. We'll have a look. I'm just going to check. I think Fabrizio Romano said it. Did Fabrizio Romano say it? That's Cancelo. There's Lyanco. Lukaku to Roma. Brentford now considering Johan Bakayoko after having a £43 million bid plus add-ons rejected for Brennan Johnson. Wow, 43 million euros. Nottingham Forest decided to reject the formal bid from Brentford for Brennan Johnson. Yet proposal was 43 million plus add-ons and a sell-on clause. Tottenham are still interested and had contacts to sign Johnson. Just mad. This guy is 43 plus add-ons. Really? In what world is this guy 43 million and add-ons? Just absolute madness. Flying Solo said we've got 6 midfielders once Bentancur is back, but it's worth noting that it could take a while for him to get back his form off such an injury, which is why I'm 50-50 on selling. Basuma, Maddison, Sarr, Lo Celso, Hoiberg, Skip, Lo Celso, Bentancur. 8 midfielders. 8 midfielders we've got. Why do we need 8 midfielders? Philly has come in again and said fans just don't want to move on and wonder why things don't change and then blame the manager. Infuriate me. It's clapped. Listen, I agree with you. Honestly, for me, there's not many of these that I wouldn't think about selling. Honestly, I truly wouldn't, especially if they're not in like the ones that are not in the first 11. Surely we recycle, refresh, go again, don't we? Hugo Boss Wood has said, sign Tosin and the guy midfield who equalised against Arsenal and sell anyone. I think Tosin's on his way to Monaco, my friend. Mitch Day has said, you keep Lo Celso and Hoiberg unless you have players lined up. Yeah, let's just keep everyone. We're just going to keep everyone. Let's keep everyone, keep a massive squad, never recycle. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Christian has said, who can we realistically buy to replace Hoiberg? Dude, that's not my problem. At the end of the day, we've got 8 centre mids. Why is it imperative that we keep Hoiberg? I just don't get it. Listen, right. Look at the 3 that start. Basuma, Maddison, Sarr. 3, right? We've got 3 there. Then you've got Skip, Lo Celso, right? And Bentancur. There's 6. Hoiberg 7. Ndombele 8. Like 8 centre mids, and we got people worrying about who's going to play if Hoiberg leaves. I'm just baffled. Listen, I'll be honest. I'm just baffled. I just don't understand our fan base. I don't think I ever will understand our fan base. Bye, Stewie. Okay. Lukaku to Roma. The deal is done. Scooter React said, morning Sava, another centre-back and a striker are a must. Listen, we're going to talk about that, but it seems that a striker is not our priority. It's not our priority according to all of the Spurs reporters. We'll see. Snipes has said, Sava, I'm so disappointed in the Spurs fans who keep defending Richie. Why don't we care more about the feelings of a terrible player than the football club? Listen, I'm not getting into that. I've been getting some right stick today on Instagram. Everyone's telling me that I don't understand what he does for the team. He will come good. He's only young. All of the usual standout excuses. Sorry, what? Look up at Q Light. I don't know what that means. Sam Jones, finger. What? I don't understand. People are so weird in the chat. People are so weird. Jeep has said, no need to hide an ugly sneeze. We watch Spurs. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk football, people. Mitch has said, you need players lined up to replace Hoiberg. If we don't have players lined up, why? We've got 8 central midfielders. 8. Why do we need to keep 8 central midfielders? I've never known anything like this fan base, ever. MV Joker Davis said, Ange does like clearing out the old guard. Confused that none of the old guard has left yet. Me too. Yeah, I'd rather have Gordon Jury, the jukebox Jury, than Richarlison, of course. Peter, do you know how many first-team players we've got at this football club? Are you kidding me? Is this for real? You've got to have a squad. We've got so many players. It is unreal. Honestly, I need to ask this question. Am I the only person in the world who can see how much this squad needs refreshing and how big it is? Like, why? I just don't get it. Cash said I would sell Hoiberg in a heartbeat and go and get Amrabat. He would strengthen our squad even more. You'd like to think so. Savage, you think Skip is better than Hoiberg? No, I don't particularly rate either of them, to be honest. No, I don't. I think they both do the same job. I don't think there's a lot between them. Daffa Sher has said, Marcus Edwards all day long. Lots of talk about Marcus Edwards in the chat. Chris Peters has said, Bent equals Richie. My grandma could have scored that. I would rather have Darren Bent, if I'm honest, than Richarlison. Darren Kasky. What swap deal would I do? For who? What do you mean, my friend? Who are we talking about here? Captain Cockrell has said a lot of journalists are reporting Tottenham going to be very busy in the last few days of the window. I hope they're right as well, my friend. Listen, all I know is that you've got to move on. Look at Man City. Man City let top players go. You know what I mean? Like, who's the right back that's just about to leave? Cancelo. Imagine if Spurs were going to let a player... Look, we're getting upset at the thought of a substitute midfielder going, right? Go on, Cancelo, out the door, out you go. Yeah, Maris, you can go as well. Gundogan's gone on a free. Yeah, Laporte, go on, you go. Shao said, what's crazy is Ben Johnson would be our best attacker by some distance. That's a big shout. Ladies and gents, what do we think of this? Our best attacker by some distance. That's an interesting one. Leah said squad players who fit system. Yeah, listen, Cole, let's keep these players. Potato Stew said, why need to replace Hoiberg? I don't think we would need to. I think you can let him go and recycle in other areas. We've got loads of midfielders. Loads. I just don't get it. I wouldn't pay 85 million for Ivan Toney. I don't think he's that good. 85 million. Kulu could play in midfield. Joanna's, listen, if this club is serious, we bid for Toney. No one's allowed to bid for Toney, just so you know. No one's allowed to bid for Toney. Good evening to Ian Barron in the chat. Everyone watching, hope you're well and had a great day. I've liked as normal. Big up to you and to the 217 that have liked. So big up to you, my friend. Sam Jones said we'll need someone up front that score header. Bull, we need some. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Quinnia said, I wonder if Ben's will be able to claim his spot back from Sarr if Sarr keeps his standards like this. Yeah. I listen, it's good to see that competition there, which is why I'm not worried about a Hoiberg or a Skip going. But listen, I give up. I give up with this fan base. Listen, I could say anything and people will just say it's the opposite. Well, you don't understand game yet. You're still learning. If you could write that in English for me so I could understand, Lee, that would be good. I don't know what that means. Wanna be League. Oh, God. Oh, hang on. Let me just block this person. We're just starting to get a lot of trolls all of a sudden. People like Lee Haley, that person. Let's hope they don't come in their droves. Rich Cobia said, why do we need another winger in Brennan Johnson? He's a workhorse, but a tad clumsy. Listen, I wouldn't. This wouldn't be the route I would go down. but I'm not the manager. I'm not the chairman. Sam Jones said we do have the biggest team in the Prem. We've got a massive squad. We've got a massive squad. And if people want to see a new striker, they want to see a new midfielder, they want to see a new centre-back, but they don't want to sell players that we can get money for. Big Boss Man said, I think the point people are trying to say, although we have 8 midfielders, the priority should be to shift Ndombele, Lo Celso, maybe Skip. Sure, but Big Boss Man, I'll say it again, football doesn't always work like that. If you are not getting the offers, like Ndombele, if you're not getting the offers and the guy won't move, what do? Skip is going to be around for homegrown purposes. And people are telling me the other day, Lo Celso has to stay. So, okay, fans like you can just keep everyone. We'll keep everyone, but then don't complain at the end of the window when no one else comes in. Got to get players out the door as well. Absolutely. Cynical Dad. I love this debate. 33 players in the squad. No European football. We need to get at least 8 out the door. Absolutely. Lee has said it has needed a refresh for years and people just can't see it. We need to move on and get better players in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Skip's not good enough and Bentancur's injured. Bentancur's back in training. He won't be injured forever. Jack London has said some of the Deadwood will play in the Carabao Cup, have a good game and stay. Well, listen, apparently a lot of these Deadwood aren't Deadwood. Everyone wants to keep them all. It's just madness. I genuinely thought after the last 3 or 4 years of the same old players that everyone would be on board and moving players on, getting new, fresh players in. Nope. Nope. We don't want to do it. Christian Felle said Skip not good enough, Ndombele not good enough, Lo Celso not good enough, Bentancur come back from an injury. So all of a sudden, I don't get this. I'm being told by some people that Ndombele is good, Lo Celso's good, Skip's good. Now I'm being told none of them are good. I'm so confused as to what's going on. I really don't understand. Cash said fans are so stupid. Of course we replace them, but just with more quality. Look, I get it. It's late in the window, but we've got a massive squad, people. This is a huge squad. Let's move on from Hoiberg. The love for him is baffling to me. The same way the love for Richarlison is. Ian Satwick has said, no way would Johnson be our best attacker. Let's move on from this guy and let's go to, I'll ask the question. We can go for a few more comments until we catch up. Let's go to the next player that I want to talk about is Brennan Johnson. So Brennan Johnson, Fatty and Bakayoko. Now let's have a look at what has happened with these 3 players. Okay. So Brennan Johnson, Fatty and Bakayoko. So here's how it lies as far as I can see. Okay. As far as I can see, this is the situation. Spurs are interested and are trying to talk to Nottingham Forest about Brennan Johnson, but of course haven't bid yet. We don't bid. We just do a lot of talking with clubs. In the meantime, Brentford have come in and put a £43 million bid down on the table for Brennan Johnson with add-ons plus sell-on clause, and it's been rejected. Now, Brentford are moving on to Bakayoko, Johan Bakayoko of PSV, who Burnley had a bid rejected for earlier in the window. Fatty is someone apparently that Spurs like, but Barcelona apparently don't want to let him go. So that one should be really interesting. So listen, it's all good fun, isn't it? It's all good fun with what's happening at Tottenham, happening in the transfer window. Let me know your thoughts on all 3. Fatty, Brennan Johnson, Bakayoko. Who would you want? Where do they play? They all are technically right-sided wingers or right-sided forwards, whatever you want to call them. And at the moment, that is where... Sorry, my camera's going again. And at the moment, that is where... Has that worked? Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully. It's telling me that you can't, but I think you can. They're all technically right-sided forwards, but that is exactly the same as Kulu. And Solomon plays there as well. So what happens if you sign another one and you've got Kulu, Solomon, and another player? You're playing once a week. What happens with these players? What happens? What do we do? Madness. Let me know. I'll get to those comments in a minute. Johnny Yeats has said Johnson's a talent, and I imagine would be one of Ange's system. I would take him, but also on the basis we upgrade in other areas. Yeah, I'm like that with Brennan Johnson. I don't mind either way. I just don't think it's the signing that sets the pulse racing, and I didn't think this is why we moved to the new stadium. But hey, it is what it is. Paul has said, personally, I'd let Hoiberg go, and all of the current front three. Kulu's son don't fit this way of playing, and Richie ain't the one. Yeah, I don't think all four of them are going to go. I think maybe Hoiberg, but even our fans don't want to let him go. Charles has said, Charles Mano Salvas has said, Salva, I think people would better understand if you said improve instead of replace. We need to improve. I don't think it matters what word I use. I would take the money for Hoiberg while you can. Otherwise, he sits on a bench and his value just goes down and down and down. James Shaw said Sarr was limping quite badly after the last game. Darren thinks we need another left back to cover for Udogie. At the moment, you think already, though, you've got Ryan Sessegnon on the left side, Davis. They're not going anywhere. You know, Davis and Sessegnon are not going anywhere this window. Neither is Hill. Neither is Perisic, apparently. No one wants to sell Lo Celso or Hoiberg. I don't know where we're going to mix up the players if we don't keep recycling. Random YouTube commentator said, if we sell Hoiberg, we should bring in a younger player. Although I'd love Amrabat, we already have a functioning midfield, and bringing him in may cause playtime problems when Bentancur is back. Yeah, but there's no guarantee that Bentancur is going to come back the same player, right? I think we've got to put that in mind. I would also look at Atate of Celtic. I really, really would. Gio Ria has said, I see we're prioritising attack rather than centre-backs. What is your take on our back line at the moment? Listen, I've got nothing wrong with our back four. My worry is once you go beneath that, the depth. The depth for me just isn't there at the centre-back area. Big up to the Tottenham Hotspur lad said, big up, Sava. Who would you swap Richie with? You, Kuva, Angus, this guy, Zaitochi, anyone for me to play up front instead of Richarlison. I just can't stand watching this guy play. Every time the ball goes into him, I just think, oh, well, that's that move dead. Kuva said, I'm happy with Sanchez and Phillips as backup for the central defenders. I'd prefer a goal scorer like Orban and a bundle of tricks to unlock stubborn defences like an Eze. Play on the front foot. I think none of those things are going to happen, I'm afraid. Eze is going to cost an absolute bomb. We're never going to do that in a million years. And then when you suggest raising funds to make that happen, people want to keep Hoiberg, Kuva. So I don't know what we do here. Don says Lo Celso can go. He is tidy, but I don't think he fits Ange's ball. Yeah, when he came on the other day for me, Lo Celso, I think he wants too long on the ball. Just for me, I don't think he moves the ball quick enough. Just a slight criticism of him there. Also, you know, we've seen him for many years. I'm not too bothered what happens with Lo Celso, if I'm brutally honest. Quinny has said, if Maddison, Basuma and Bentancur is the starting line in a few months, who would you want as backups from what we have? Sarr, Lo Celso, Skip, Hoiberg. I think Sarr will be better in that position than Bentancur. I think Bentancur, it's a lot to ask for a player coming back from that injury to have those legs on him again. But I would have, to answer your question, Sarr and Skip will be there because he's homegrown. They're going to keep Skip. He's not going to go anywhere. He's homegrown. So those two, and I would sell the other two and look at bringing new midfielders in the next couple of windows. That's definitely what I would do. Absolutely, Nana Hotspur, bang on. How can you sell players when nobody wants them? Also, how can you make players go if they don't want to go? So we can say, oh, Ndombele needs to go first. Ndombele's turned down moves this window. How do you get him out the door? Tough one, isn't it? Really tough one. Mitch said, but City replaced them. We don't. That's the issue. I don't trust Levy to get in all the players we want. So I just think the players ahead of Hoiberg, if Levy uses the money, I'd sell, of course. Yeah, but at what point do we stop having this as our debate? Does this mean we never sell these players whilst we've got Levy as chairman? I'm not sure. Johnny Yids has said, for me, it's like left back. I want Cess and Reggie gone. If not, keep Reggie over Cess. If no one wants Cess, I would still sell Reggie. We need to shift players. I agree, my man. I agree. We need to shift players. Problem is, Sessegnon's injured. Going nowhere, my man. Sessegnon and Hill are staying because they're injured. Real shame for me. I would have liked both of those to have been shipped out, to be completely honest. KEB has said, Sava speaking the truth is good to hear. Harsh and fair. Listen, I want my club to go to the next level. Yeah, that's me. Listen, my standards, my ambitions as a fan, I want to see this club go from here to there. I don't want to keep the players that have kept us at this level. Everyone wants to keep the Lo Celsos and the Hoibergs and the Sanchez. Fine, but then don't complain when we don't go to this level because we want to keep the same players. Big up the J-Maker has said, loving the content, Sav, currently in hospital recovering from broken back. Ouch. Hope your recovery is going well, my friend. Sorry to hear about that. Justin, big up to you, my man. I hope you're well. David Tan has said no one would leave if he has paid 200k a week for just training. This is the problem. When we just say, oh, we've got to get him out first, it doesn't always work like that. Let's be fair, Kane will be the last one you get out. But when a player wants to go, when a player you could lose him for less money or for free, got to make these tough decisions. Hobbers said, refresh of a squad is not giving players a second chance. It may take 3 windows, though. I agree. I don't think everyone can go in 1 window. But for me, I want to refresh. That's just me, Hobbers. I really want to refresh. I'm so bored. I don't know about others. I'm really bored of watching certain footballers. I'm comfortable never seeing Hoiberg again. I'm comfortable never seeing Dyer and Davis and Sanchez. I'm comfortable with it. But we seem to not be as a fan base. But hey, each to their own. James Harden, big up to you, has said, I can understand the sentiment with Hoiberg, but Richie's done nothing. Yeah, Richie for me is he's somebody that I wish somebody from maybe Saudi Arabia would come in last minute and take him. He isn't for me. Big up to everyone. We're nearly an hour into the show. And thank you to everyone so far that has smashed the likes. I will ask, just because it's the first time in an hour, please smash the like button, people. It really does help. 258 likes, 648 people in the house. And please keep smashing that subscribe button. I won't ask again until the end of the show, but please smash that like button. It is in the chat and it is pinned. A couple of super chats here. Blaine Dev's come in. Thank you so much and said the problem is at 50 million, our fans would expect Johnson to be a superstar from day one. He's not a finished article, but this is what Ange wants. Moldable. Blaine Dev, I think, listen, first of all, thank you so much for the super chat. I think the biggest thing for me is it who Ange wants, or as Ange just said, I'd be comfortable with that? Because we were linked with Brennan Johnson the last couple of windows. So it's not like it's some bloke from left field. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, but I agree with you. Our fans will expect a lot because he's 50 million, and I just don't think he's a 50 million pound player. We'll see what happens. You know what, Blaine Dev? We're going to know in 4 days and 2 hours and 8 minutes. So we're going to know. We're going to know very, very shortly. What's it? 24, 48, 72, 96 hours. In 96 plus, in 98 hours, we're going to know the answer to all these questions. 98 hours. And watch out for Friday. We've got a basically an all-day transfer special going from early afternoon right the way through to the transfer window closing. So join me, Sean, Henry. There'll be a few of us doing bits, and we'll talk you through every single transfer in the world of football. And hopefully it's a busy day at Hotspur Way. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it is what it is. And take a shot. If you want a shot every time I say it is what it is, you will be very drunk. 7_SC. Thank you so much for the super chat. I said, I agree with you 110%, Saba. That 10% is important, 7SC. That's important because it means you agree with me and some. So thank you very much for agreeing with me. Listen, thank you very much for the super chat. Oh, right. Listen, have we even got left? We're now getting away from that. Adam Phillips said we already have one Fatty and Ndombele. Big up to you. Angus has said there's no way you're getting Fatty. Get that out of your brain for a start. That ain't going to happen. I don't think it will happen. He's linked with us. We're talking about it. I think you should worry about your own goings on with your centre back at left back and your centre mid at right back and Havertz in midfield. You should worry about yourselves, Angus, because you guys aren't winning nothing this season. Rich Cobia said, Brennan Johnson works his socks off. He's quick and a ball carrier. His final pass and finish are dubious. Well, this is what Sean said the other day. He got some stats. He broke it down. So when you look, Brennan Johnson plays well in a team in transition. What will he be like in a team that have possession? Just asking, just questions. Peter said, Johnson, 10 goals last season. Nothing special unless they take Sanchez. Now, Peter, yeah, this one I agree with. We don't always see eye to eye, but that's the beauty of football, Peter. I would, if someone said 25, 30 million plus Sanchez goes the other way, I will bite your hand off at that deal. 50 million, I'm not sure. Marona said, I don't care. Solomon will go to Chelsea if Spurs bring one more winger. Right, so Spurs signed Solomon this window. Is he allowed to move again in the same window? Isn't there a rule against that? Is there a rule against that? I'm not sure. Brian has said swap Lo Celso for Fatty, maybe. Reggie Shimmer has said you're back. Yeah. I don't know if I went anywhere, but yeah, I'm back. Big up to you. Christian Feller has said, I'm Belgian, and I can tell you, Bakayoko is miles clear of Brennan Johnson. Bakayoko can assist and score. He's a beast. Also showed glimpses in the World Cup. Yeah, I would take Bakayoko from what I've seen of him. I'm not seen loads, but the games I have seen, he looks good. The stats of those three, they're very similar from last year, to be honest. I did a video on that earlier. The stats are very similar from last year. And thank you for the people that have all just subscribed. Big up to all of you people. Thank you. I can't do the channel without you wonderful people being so generous. Angus has said, Fatty plays on the left. Never seen him play on the right. I've seen him play on the right and the left, and I've seen him play through the middle. Mark Cook has said, Savra, I would take Bakayoko all day. His stats are amazing, different gear. I like Bakayoko. You keep saying this, Maron. I've not seen anywhere. Who is reporting this, please? And I can go and have a look. Is he even allowed to go? And Bayern Munich in the last 10 minutes have formally approached Chelsea to start talks for Trevor Chalobah. And Chelsea have rejected a loan proposal and they want a permanent deal. So apparently the hold-up is going to be Chalobah to Bayern Munich, and then Bayern Munich will allow Pavard to go to Inter Milan. So lots of dominoes going on there. And Al Ittihad have got Joe Gomez of Liverpool high on a list of players they would like to sign. So that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, that keeps you up to date with what's happened in the last sort of 30 minutes from Fabrizio Romano. Brad Gibbs has said, I would start Perisic and Solomon every game and then sign a new number 9. Maron, please stop saying this. Please, can you, if you've got a link, send me the link. Otherwise, stop saying the same thing over and over again, please. Thank you very much. Glenn Hope, big up to you, has said, Sava, keep up the level-headed work. Best Spurs channel on YouTube. Why not throw Johnson down the middle, put Kulu down the left, get his best foot down by the byline, Son down the right? I can't see him doing that. I would try things. I definitely think it doesn't work how it is now. But yes, absolutely. Billy Horrocks has said, every time I click on your show, you're moaning. I don't think we're moaning about anything. I think we're... Billy, listen, I'm going to ask you nicely, Billy, because I've decided I'm not dealing with trolls anymore. We're having talks about loads and loads of players. We've just talked about Hoiberg. We're now talking about Brennan Johnson, Bakayoko. If you're going to come in and start doing this, please don't. I saw you in the chat the other day of another show talking really badly about me. I don't mind. You can say what you want about me. It doesn't hurt my feelings, but don't come into my show and start mugging me off, all right? Because you will be blocked immediately. And I do give the authorization to my mods to block you. Just come in, talk football like the rest of us, and that's what we're doing, all right? Big up to Jessica, who has put a super chat in. Thank you very much. And said, Jota can play in the wings and as a number 10 and Orban for me. So I think you're talking about, obviously, the Jota that left Celtic to go to Saudi Arabia, who now apparently that hasn't worked out or something's going on there. And yeah, obviously the Gift Orban name that keeps flying around, but nothing's happened. I agree with you completely on both of those, Jessica. I just don't think either of them are going to happen. However, never say never. There are 4 days and 2 hours left of the transfer window. So let's see what happens. Going to try and catch up to some of these comments. Hennessy has said, would rather spend more and take a gamble on someone like Jonathan David. Kubra said, stop it, Sava. You're bringing my mood down when you start listing the crap we can't get rid of. Listen, I'm living in a reality here, Kuva. I'm living in a reality that you've got to get rid of this deadwood. It's got to go somehow. Got to trim the squad down. Yeah, Paul, apparently got to stay silent. It just makes me laugh. Like, Billy always turns up to my show. It's so weird. But big up to Billy. Solomon is better than Johnson. There's an interesting take. I mean, we've not seen Solomon. I'd like to see some more minutes of him, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting. Rich Kobe says we need a centre-back 100%. He said 100% we need a centre-back. Yes, at some point we are going to need another centre-back. An injury to Van der Ven or Romero, and I start worrying. Emmanuel has said, Sava, would you take Watkins? I would take Ollie Watkins. I'm going to put this out there. Villa are not going to sell their main man. Villa are not going to sell their top goal scorer in a million years with 4 days left of the window. Even throughout the summer, I don't think there was any chance Watkins would go. But hey, I would definitely take him. I think Villa have got a good front three now. But yes, I would definitely take him if he was available. I think he's come on leaps and bounds from a couple of years ago. HM has said Forest rejecting 43 million for Johnson and Spurs still interested means they are ready to spend big on him. Yeah, that's a worry, isn't it, when you put it like that? Bash the Daddy has said Skip is definitely a bench player. If someone will pay 30 to 40 million for Hoiberg, then sell. This is my point. You've got players that can sit on the bench. I don't want to keep a player who we could get 30, 40 million for because he's going to come on for 15 minutes at the end of games. No. Henry Wright said, Fred TV has said, honestly, Richarlison is absolute dross. Blows my mind how people don't see that. Not just your mind, Henry Wright said, Fred TV. This mind as well. Completely mind blown when people keep talking about this guy like he's good. Nate has said, big up Sava. What watch do you wear? What's that got to do with anything, Nate? Got 3 or 4 watches. Depends where I'm going, how formal. Don't know what that's got to do with anything, but big up to you. Will Sarr turn into a superstar? Well, he's got all the ability to turn into a superstar. I think he needs time, he needs patience, and he needs fans to not put him on a pedestal after 3 or 4 games. Let's give him the time to grow and mold as a footballer. Cello Vera has said, Sava, we're the only club. Sorry, we are the only club that over all the wingers. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, sorry. Listen, I agree. When you look at Diaby going to Villa and you look at Kudus going to West Ham and Elise was wanted and then we're after Brennan Johnson, it's just kind of like, again, Cello Vera, I agree. Diaby, that's where I want to set my standards. Diaby of Villa, that's where I want to set my standards. But apparently that's moaning. So, hey, what can you do? What can you do? Big up to absolutely everybody inside. I'll keep reading these comments out because we're going to catch up. But while we're waiting for that to happen, the next player we're going to talk about is going to be this guy. I think this should be a bit more straightforward. Jed Spence. So what's happened with Jed Spence? So Jed Spence, apparently, according to all of the reports to Sky Sports, Jed Spence and his people are in talks with Leeds. Now, last week, it was said that both parties, that Leeds were open to loan or permanent basis, but apparently Spurs wanted it to be a permanent basis. Now, we know how those things can change, maybe a loan with an obligation to buy if Leeds get back to the Premier League. What do you make? What do we make of this? Is there anyone that is in the camp for keeping Jed Spence? For me, I just think it was a bad signing in the first place, and you're probably best cutting your losses, trying to get as much of the money back as you can and moving on. What do you think? Let me know. Sorry, let me just have a little bit of drink. 1 second, people. I like to do a lot of the shows by myself so that I can get to the comments. So hopefully that's appreciated. It does mean that my throat, after a while, does need some water. It does, really does. Madzi, he can foresee a late deadline transfer day deal for Orban or David. I don't know about you. I think the difficulty when you try and take somebody's star player, and both of those players are their team star player, on deadline day is you don't leave the club any time to do to get a backfill. So we'll see. I wouldn't be against it, but we'll see. Richard Jones has said Richarlison is Rebrov 2.0. Kind words there. I think I'd rather Rebrov. But yeah, I hear you. We were linked with Maddison before Ange. Ange wanted him. Yeah, but Maddison's quality. Do you know what I mean? Like, Maddison's a quality player. Kuva has said Vicario, Romero, VDV, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Porro, Adoji are the way forward. Anyone else is expandable if there's an upgrade in my eyes. Yep. Can't disagree with Kuva, the better looking version of me. Can't disagree with you at all. Big up to you, Kuva. Thank you so much. Mike Reyes has said, question, Sava, on another topic, what do you think? How can an intelligent man like Arteta, all bitterness aside, can think that adding Havertz will improve his team and turn them into champions? Listen, do you know what? I would say this. If you are adding Havertz and he is a squad player, sure. But when you are changing your team around, i.e. taking Partey, who was probably your best midfielder last year, not yours, to get, taking Partey, the best midfielder at Arsenal last year, arguably, to put him at more of a right back, it's just weird. Really, really, really weird. Martin H said Matoma is a real gem. Yeah, that's the sort of player I want to be signing. Not Brennan Johnson, if I'm brutally honest. Sorry if that is harsh. Thank you to the people that just subscribed. And as I promised, I won't be asking for likes and subscribers. Just the once I did on the hour mark. Glenn Hope has said Mitoma a baller. Hang on. Someone said a new chat from Ali Gold has just dropped. Let's see if Ali Gold has said anything worth reading out. Oh, are you talking about? Oh, okay, right. I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay, there was nothing there that will interest any Spurs fans about signings or anything. Inter Milan 2-0 up away at Calgary. That has just come onto my screen as well. Barry has said Johnson had 3 assists last season. Another dumb Levy signing. We'll get to this a bit later. We will get to this later. Ring Kettig has said you are not allowed to stay registered for 3 teams in under 1 season or something like that. Yeah, does anyone know the exact rule on that? Somebody said you can't join more than 2 clubs once. One and only. Yeah, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know. Big up to Holly from Holly's Hotspurs. If you haven't subscribed to Holly, go over there. She's got great content. Always has excellent guests. And please subscribe. Holly, feel free to whack your link in the chat. And then if people would get over there and subscribe to her, that would be amazing. She's one of the good ones from back in the day as well. We used to stream with each other 3 or 4 years ago. So big up to you, Holly. Hope you are well. Angus has said, isn't Bakayoko English came from the Chelsea Academy? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not willing to die on a hill and say no on that one, but we'll see. Big up to the super chats inside the house. Oryx Beats is always a massive supporter of the channel. Has said left wing, Yotta on a free, right wing, Bakayoko at 30 million, centre back, Tosin 15 million plus Dyer, or centre-back Nelson, 15 million, or Scherzer, 15 million. Total would be less than Johnson. When you put it like that, but you'd need a good director of football and scouts to make that happen, right? I don't think we're that team, but I love the idea of that, Oryx Beats. I love that idea, my man. Henry Wright said, Fred TV has said, I'll take someone who hasn't had a chance to prove himself at Premier League level rather than someone who's proven himself to be average at best in English Premier League level. Bakayoko over Brennan Johnson. Yeah, interesting. I would take Jared Bowen in a heartbeat. West Ham are not selling Jared Bowen to Tottenham Hotspur. It's just not happening in any way, shape, or form. But yes, when you look at, I look at Jared Bowen, I look at Brennan Johnson, I know who I would rather have. Glenn Hope has said Ollie Watkins, not a great 20-goal striker, but can play his part. Yeah, I think if he played for us, he'd get 17 to 18 league goals, something like that. Kuva has said, love Ollie Watkins, always on the move, looking for the ball and trying to affect play around the box. Yeah, listen, I do think he's come on leaps and bounds. Look, we're not going to get a 30-goal-a-season man like Kane, but if you can get someone who gets you 17 to 18 to 20, why not? And I just don't think Richarlison is that man. Orban is a youngster, already got Valise and Scarlett. Angelo, I'm going to tell you this. Orban's 21. He is miles ahead of both Valise and Scarlett. He is miles better than both, and he is miles ahead of both. I don't put them in the same bracket. This is a guy that's played Champions League football. This is a guy who's been playing first-team football for a couple of years. I don't see them in the same bracket. Someone in the chat, let me know if that is wrong. Tottenham Hotspur ladder said, Sav, as Big Ange is doing great things at the moment, what can Spurs win this season? Look, you never know with good cup runs. You could win a cup. But for me, I'm not worried about winning something this year. If it happens, it happens. That'd be fantastic. For me, I'm more worried about the team building, bonding, gelling, whatever you want to say about it in those words. Christian Feller said, I don't know how we moved so fast for Richarlison, and now Kane left. We reportedly don't even care about that position. Just makes me think we spent the Kane money already. Well, most of the noises coming out, Christian, are that it's Postecoglou that doesn't want a centre forward. Like, what I don't understand is having this chat with some of my Spurs groups earlier, is if he's willing to pay 50 million for Brennan Johnson, why wouldn't he give Postecoglou 50 million for a striker? And that's where it never seems to make sense to me. But hey, Stefan has said, Romero getting injured is a real worry. Do you see any centre-back possibilities? Listen, we've been rumoured to every centre-back in the world in the last 3 months, haven't we? Van de Ven coming in was a brilliant acquisition. I was so happy when we got him. Now I think we need one more. That's just me. I truly think we need one more. And thank you to whoever the person is that kindly subscribed. That is much appreciated. Random YouTube commenter said Spence loaned to Luton rather than a championship club. Have Luton come in for him, or are we just suggesting clubs that he could play for? Neither Conte. Oh, sorry. What's going on here? There we go. Neither Conte nor Ange see a player in Spence. Bye-bye, sunshine. Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think it was the right signing at all. I feel sorry for the lad, and I do think he needs to go somewhere and play football. He's young, and he's another one. I don't want to see a career ruined because he spent so many years trying to get in a team, not being able to do it. A bit like Joe Roden, a bit like Tanganga, you know what I mean? Ollie Skip might go that way. Agreed. Aaron Lawrence said our front three look more cohesive when someone up front. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. I wish. It is not, I promise you. Johnny Morgan, big up to you, has said, I don't think Spence wants to be here, nor do I think we want him. Best for both parties to go their separate ways. I agree. No bad blood. I feel sorry for him, as I said. Duffer said, sell Spence, a Levy signing, waste of space, make room for Levy's next waste of space Johnson. No messing about with that comment there, I see. Sue Smith is in the house. Big up to you, Sue. How you doing? Has said, I feel for Spence, never wanted by Conte and treated poorly. I'd love to see him given a chance, to be honest. Yeah, I just think this is a lot of managers now that are not giving this guy game time. I feel like it tells a story. Paul Davis, big up to you, Paul. One of the good ones. Channel member has said, just Spence go. If he was good enough as right back, I'm sure the managers he's worked with would have given him a chance. I feel it's also about his application and attitude. Yeah, I just wonder how good he actually is, Paul. You know, I don't disagree. You hear lots of things about his attitude, but how good is he? Does anyone know how good this guy really is? He was bought off the back of a good year in the Championship. No one seems to want to play him. He played a few games out on loan in France. El Dante is also a channel member, said, I would definitely push to sell Richie to a Saudi club who might be interested. Yeah, again, I suppose, El Dante, I suppose it's if they're interested, right? I see a lot of suggestions of who we should sell players to, but if no one wants them, what do we do? What do you do with these players? PTM has said Diaby is too good for Villa, but he could probably put them in the Champions League. Listen, this is a top footballer. 50 million euros for him, but 50 million pounds for Brennan Johnson. I know who's getting the better deal there. Mike Reyes has said, but I am shameless at Sava. I will ask for the likes. Hit that like button, people. You don't need to smash it. Just gently tap it. Big up, Mike. Thanks for saying that. Appreciated. Look, we are on 331 likes. Let's get that to 400 as quickly as possible. And we will be going for just under another half an hour. So big up to everybody inside. Maybe we might get some breaking news in the next half an hour. One thing is for sure, if we do get any breaking news in the next 2 hours, proper news, I'll be back. Philly has said Alistair Gold makes excuses for bad players. I mean, Philly, a lot of our fan base make excuses for bad players. The amount, honestly, if I could show you my Instagram today, I put a video out today on my Instagram talking about no more excuses, Spurs fans. Look, let's cut the deadwood. Let's stop pretending that Richarlison's the guy. And the number of comments that came back saying, you don't know ball. You know that one. You don't know ball. You don't understand his position in the team. And I'm like, listen, I'm 40 years of age. I've seen some proper forwards at Tottenham. This is not one of them. This is not one of them, right? I mean, if anyone would like to, let's start compiling a list in the chat of players that have played for Spurs in the Premier League era up front that you would rather than Richarlison. And here it is. There is that sneeze, that delayed sneeze from about half an hour ago decided to come out right now. Daniela Zito, big up to you, Daniela. I hope you're well. Has said, wait, what's happening with Solomon? I don't know. Lots of people are talking about him going to Chelsea, which I don't get. I really don't get. But, hey, apparently this is happening. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know on this one either. Lots of I don't knows. I'm not sure. Talk that he's going to come back, and I think it would be a loan more than anything. I think it would be a loan. And oh my God, here he is. Who's this? Haas is in the house. How you doing, man? Apart from having rubbish internet, I can't hear.
Sorry, that's my fault. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, man.
Sorry, I've literally come home and I've just set up and been dashing to join you, basically. Yeah, I'm good, Sav. I'm good. And hello to everyone else on the bank holiday.
Boom. Bank holiday Monday. Hope everyone's enjoyed their evening. For the record, Haz has been working. I've had a curry. And look, we're all living life. Haz, we've gone through a lot tonight already. We've talked about Hoiberg, Brennan Johnson, Fatty, Bakayoko, Spence. There's still a few more to go through. Let me just pick your brains on some of these. Hoiberg is causing, I say this sentence so much, causing divide. I've said if anything comes in at 35 to 40 million, I am snapping your hand off. I am refreshing the team. I am recycling. Lots of people want to keep him. Where are you at with Hoiberg?
Listen, 40, 50 million. I'm divorcing the wife, selling the house, everything. Yeah, look, 40, 50 million. Come on now. How much did we pay for Hoiberg? 27 million, 28 million from Southampton?
Well, I think it wasn't it 25? No, hang on. Wasn't he part of the Carl Walker-Peters deal?
I think, yeah, Kyle Walker-Peters went the other way, and
15 million or something.
And 15 million, right? So if we're talking about 40, 50 million for Hoiberg, Jesus Christ, yeah, I mean, you're taking that all day long. That's another player and potentially paying off another top player's wages for the rest of the season. So for me, it's a no-brainer, that is, honestly. A lot of people are divided over Hoiberg because, look, listen, we've seen a lot of him under Conte, under Jose, playing a lot of the sideways football, not really venturing into the opposition half. This season under Ange, under instruction, he has got forward. He has, done what he's been told to do. However, I just think he's one of those players that are sort of expendable, if you know what I mean.
I agree.
I think we've got better players at the club in Saar, Bissouma, Madison's in there, Bentancur's in there. Where do we fit Hoiberg into the team once Bentancur's back as well? That's the question. We take 40, 50. Look, I'll take 30. I'll take 30, 35.
Mate, me too. Yeah? What I've said is, for me, listen, if we're talking about a guy here now who is a decent squad player, but he's not in the first team, and you're talking about, this is what I said earlier, you've got Bissouma, Madison and Saar. There's your three. You've got Bentancur to come back. You've got Skip. You've got Lo Celso, right? Then you've got Hoiberg and Ndombele. There's 8 of them. Yeah. And for me, I think when people listen, I might be wrong here. Listen, only my opinion. When people sit there going, we want a forward, we want a midfielder, we want a centre-back, we want a right-back, cool. But then in the same breath, when you're talking about raising funds and getting squad players out to bring other players in, we seem to want to keep everyone. So it's a strange one with Hoiberg. And by the way, if you see strikers' names being put randomly into the chat, it's because I asked people to give me a list of players in the Premier League era that they would rather have up front than Richarlison. So we're getting all the strikers Spurs have had, apparently.
Right, yeah. That's an interesting one. I've not seen that before, but it'd be interesting to see what people come up with. I think I just saw Adebayor in there as well. Adebayor. I mean, he was quality when he come over, wasn't he? I mean, let's be honest. He did well for us under the circumstances. Look, we've got to look at where we stacked at the moment, the midfield, and who is the sort of most valuable asset we have in that department. And you've got to say, Hoiberg is the one that, we're not going to remove Ndombele anytime soon, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Hoiberg, purely because he's played 2-3 seasons consistently without missing any games, he's probably going to be the most profitable one out of those two. But for me, though, Sava, if we're doing any sort of deals between now and deadline day, we need to be sort of looking at, right, here's what we're offering. Do you want any one of these players that we've put up for transfer?
Yeah.
We need to be asking those sort of questions. Right. If we're going for Brennan Johnson, for instance, there's 25 million.
Yeah.
And here's Hoiberg, just as an example, or whoever on top. And I think we should be looking to do deals in that way, just to try and get rid of some of these players, and getting them off the wage bill. But for me, I mean, what's your opinion on it? If someone comes in for Ndombele, let's say one of the Turkish clubs.
Yeah.
12, they say 10 to 12 million.
Yeah.
Do we take the money?
I think they would. I think they would take the money now. I think the problem with getting an Ndombele off the books, it's different to getting a Hoiberg off the books or a Lo Celso off the books, because this guy's on extortionate money. So this guy right now is going, well, hang on, I've got 2 more years of a contract at Tottenham where I'm being paid 200 grand a week. And I suppose you have to weigh that up. Do I want to go to Turkey? I'm not knocking Turkey. I'm just saying he's going to go. Do I want to go there? Do I want to go and play for another club? Was Rennes in France apparently they wanted him? Do I want to go and play for Rennes? Do I want to go and play for Galatasaray? Look, I'd take him. I'd let him go. But what do you do? We can only, people keep saying to me, there's players that have to go before Hoiberg. But the problem is, in an ideal world, you would go, right, this is the order they go out. But that's not how football works. Someone has to want them.
How much is someone like Martial? How much is he on at United? That would be interesting to know, because he's not getting a looking at United at the moment. He's getting a game here or there if he's lucky. He's a player that they want to get off their books as well, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, if somebody in the chat could find out Anthony Martial's salary, that'd be amazing. But like this comment here, like it says, Sav, please tell me in your opinion, if we sell PH for 40, what are we realistically going to do with that? Only thing I see happening is Levy building another hotel. But my point to this is, then why sell anyone? If this is the opinion of Levy,
exactly,
don't sell anyone. That's just not how football works. As I've said, if we don't want to sell these players, we can't then ask for more players to keep coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's a cycle.
But by that logic, and I do appreciate your comment, Terry. And I think the reason why Terry says that is because he doesn't have any faith in Levy actually going out to spend that money, which is fair enough. But Terry, what I would say is we need to desperately try and balance the books here, because I think we've got something like over 30 players in the squad at the moment. It's ridiculous. We really need to trim the squad.
Apparently, it's 33 senior players plus.
Right, so there you go. There you go. 33. I mean, that's Chelsea levels. That is. I mean,
33.
Look, 40 million for Hoiberg. I think it's good business if we get that. Even if we've got 25 to 30, good business. Gets him off the wage books as well. And it frees up space for someone else to come in. It's as simple as that. Yep. Whether Levy's going to spend the money or not, we can't, we can't put a gun to his head, obviously. But I believe that if a significant amount of money come in, I think he would spend that money on a player, not necessarily a player that we want, but on a player, hopefully one that Ange wants.
I think the thing is as well, listen, I don't like Levy. I think that's common knowledge, right? But I do think that people are making it out like we don't ever spend money. And we do. Now, let's be really honest, right? We're all sitting there talking about a wonderful 11 we've got at the moment, right? So I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, Has, right? By the way, I'm not the Daniel Levy fan club. I would like him to go. But he signed a doggy. He signed Van der Ven. He signed Romero. He signed Porro and Sarr and Basuma and Madison. We won't talk about the front three. But if he signed all of those players that people are raving about, why all of a sudden now is it, oh, well, you can't let Hoiberg go because what will he do with that? Well, listen, first and foremost, there's nothing to say you have to sell Hoiberg and buy a new midfielder right now. You might sell a Hoiberg and go, right, we can buy a forward and a winger. There's nothing to say it has to be a midfielder.
Well, firstly, what I would say, we can use that money to pay Ndombele's wages.
Yeah. Another 4 seasons.
Or we could even use that money to release him and bring someone else. But look, there's all sorts of things you can use that money for. Yes, players. You can use it to buy a player, get a player in. You can use it to, offset contracts, this, that, and the other. There's so many things. But I just think, like I said before, we really do need to balance the books now. If we look, we're not going to get rid of everyone by Friday night. That's quite clear now. If you got 33, did you say, Sava?
Somebody said earlier it was 33 players, and then that doesn't include the likes of, I don't think that includes White and Dorrington and those types. So 33 players and no Europe.
You'd be looking, the squad's got to be 25. We've got some youngsters in there that don't need to be registered. I would say a minimum of 6 would need to go out the door at least by Friday, just to thin out the squad a bit. I think what we are going to see is a lot of loan deals, and I wouldn't be surprised. Now, this is what my prediction is that we'll make a loan deal on deadline day or just before deadline day with an obligation to buy. That's what I think will happen with Tottenham. I think at the moment, the way the current market is, £50 million for Brennan Johnson is just ridiculous. So I think we'll be going out there to do business in a loan sort of way, like we did with Romero and a few others like Kulusevski, with an obligation to buy it. For me, it's not too bad doing business that way, as long as the club that you're buying for agree to it. The only problem is that club doesn't get the money instantly to find the replacement. So they've got to be sort of fully stocked and be able to replace that player we're buying in order to accept the loan to buy deal. So that's the only problem for me. But for me, in terms of us, I think it's good because I call these deals like try before you buy.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, it just
I'm surprised we've not utilised this market more. Like when you're looking and seeing some of the players, like, listen, Lukaku to Roma on loan. But I'll tell you what, Roma, have a look at Roma's business this window and have a look at how much money they have not spent in getting it done. They have bought in Evan Undercar on a free, right? They have bought in Paredes from PSG for 4 million euros. Renato Sanchez for PSG on a loan with a 1 million loan fee.
Wait, sorry. Say that again. Renato Sanchez.
Yeah, on loan for £1 million fee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hang on, Roma, hang on, here we go. I'll bring it up. Let's have a look at it. Honestly, Roma have done some Roma's transfer business. Here we go. Roma's transfer business. Let's see if it brings it up. Oh, God. You know when you just want Roma. Oh, hang on.
I mean, that's
God. Hang on 1 second. Roma transfer market. That works better, doesn't it? Roma transfer market. There we go. Right. So Roma, as Roma, this is mad. This goes to show that if you've got a director of football that can manipulate the market, this is what you can do. Let's go to the transfers.
Sorry. Sam Jones, Sanchez, you're saying was crap in the. Listen, this is a different Sanchez. When he came to the Premier League, was it with Fulham at the time?
Swansea.
Oh, sorry, Swansea. When he came to the Premier League with Swansea, he was fresh out of the water. You know, this Sanchez at the moment, this Renato Sanchez, right, has experience. He is an absolute baller. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah, he's a top player. He's a very good player. Yeah, I think people need to remember as well that when you're a kid, it can go one of two ways, yeah? But he went away, played hard, came back a better player. But look, if you have a look at this, so this isn't taking into account the Lukaku deal, which has been given the here we go from, oh, God, hang on, what's happening there? Yeah, there we go. Don't know why it did that. Oh, that is very small, isn't it? Sorry, my screen.
I might need to get my glasses on.
Hang on, I'm trying to sort it out. My screen, for some reason, is lagging. 1 second. If you look at this deal, these deals, hang on, 100, 110, 150. Let's do that. Right. Is that better? Right. So Paredes, 2.5 million. Right. 2.5 million for Paredes from PSG. Renato Sanchez on a year loan for £1 million. Evan Undercar, a free transfer. Hossam Aouar, the attacking midfielder, free transfer.
Wow.
I'm not really going to count Rasmus Christensen on a loan. Sarda Azmoun from Leverkusen, very good forward as well. Yeah, they're getting Lukaku on loan for 5 million.
Wow.
So this brings it all back. Like, there's deals that can be done, Haas, right? If you've got a director of football that can go out and make this stuff happen.
I mean, Hoiberg Aouar there as well is a player that Arsenal were linked with for at least a couple of seasons. Absolutely fantastic player. The only thing with Aouar, I'd say, is just attitude problems. But for me, that Renato Sanchez is the one that really sticks out. £1 million loan fee. You know, that's got a Levy deal written all over that. I mean, good God. I mean, that's good business. It just shows that, you know, like you said, we can go out there, we can find players. But look, let's wait and see what happens. I'm not going to hold my breath. But for me, anyone that comes in, first and foremost, has to be someone that Ange wants. It can't be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can't be Levy coming up to Ange and saying, right, these are the three that I've identified. Okay, pick one of the three. It can't be. It's got to be Ange and Gabonini coming together, identifying the players, approaching Levy. This is who we want. Get the job done.
And let's be fair. Let's be fair. So, for example, I'm not saying we should have got him, but for example, Renato Sanchez on a loan for £1 million. Right? Daniel Levy would love that, wouldn't he? £1 million.
Levy deal.
Right. It's a Levy deal. Just quickly, GBC saying Jose bringing good players in to play terrorism football. Absolute dinosaur. I tell you what, maybe so. But if you watch Roma, right, they're not a bad team. And what it is for me, they lack goals. And in 2 years, they've won the Conference League and got to the Europa League final. So, and I think they missed out on Champions League by a few points last year.
Just 500,
and if,
yeah.
You know, and if they had won that final, which they lost on penalties, is that right?
Yeah,
they would have been in Champions League. So, you know, I think we should be careful before we belittle everybody. Ian Barron has said it's the English transfer market for Sava. Every player is overpriced.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. I don't even know what a good deal is anymore. Everyone's going for ridiculous money. El Dante said, if you're enjoying tonight's stream, please smash that like and subscribe to both Haz and Sava. Thanks to everyone that already has. I enjoy the content, which is why I encourage the support. Big up to you, El Dante. Thank you very much.
Big up, El Dante. Thank you.
And Haz, you'll be pleased to know I only asked once, and that was on the hour mark. So we're all good. We're all good. We're all good. Yeah. I know the error of my ways. It's just so interesting, isn't it, that Spurs have literally, like, everything's now happening. And we just said there's 90. Was it 96? There's 97 and a half hours of the transfer window to go.
Mental.
And all of a sudden, Spence is going and Hoiberg and Brennan Johnson bids and this and that. And you're like, haven't we had nearly 3 months to get this done? Like, what's going on?
I think the whole Harry Kane thing was the one that I think everyone was waiting for us to get over the line first, get it all done and dusted, get the money in, and then hopefully bring some players in. For me, I want to know, and chat do get involved as well. I want to know how much of a failure would it be on the club's part if we don't go out and get anyone after we've sold Harry Kane to Bayern Munich. Yes, we've done good business. We've done good business with Maddison, with a few other players that have come in, but we've just needed that couple more players to get us over the line so that we can then go on to say, do you know what? We might have a decent season, you know. But how would the chat feel if that, you know, who was the last player that come in for us before Kane left?
Van der Ven, wasn't it? Just a few days before, I think.
Right, so Van der Ven. If Van der Ven was the last player, as the last player coming in, if he was the last signing for us, how would the chat feel about that and everyone else watching? For me, personally, I think it's an opportunity missed. You know, we have to get rid of players. And I can only imagine that is what the whole the drawback is at the moment, is that we just have too many players at the club. Yet again, that is our Achilles heel.
Which is why I wouldn't be sad at letting anyone who sits on a bench go. Right? If we want players to come in, you've got to recycle players. And the problem is, look, okay, let's take the Hoiberg argument, right? And by the way, the person who just said that Fabrizio Romano has said we've bid 43 million. Where is this? I've just checked his Twitter and I've not seen anything. Is this true? Or are you saying, or are you getting this confused with Brentford, who bid 43 million?
No, it's Brentford that have offered 43
million.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Unless if you've got, so let me know where it is. We'll try and find it. But look, let's look at it like this, Haz, right? Okay. In an ideal world, we're going to play the hypothetical game. Not real. All right. Hypothetical game. In the ideal world, you go, right, first ones you want out the door. Lloris, Ndombele, Davis, Sanchez, Dyer, Spence, Sessegnon, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's what you want ideally out the door. Unfortunately, lots of those players that we've just mentioned don't actually make you any money. Yeah. The bids that have been coming in from Ndombele are like 9 million. The bids coming in for Davinson Sanchez, what was it, 11 million for Spartak Moscow or something like that?
Yeah,
right?
About 11 million.
Eric Dyer, you're not going to get a lot for him when he's sold. He's got 1 year left on his contract and isn't very good. Hugo Lloris, you're not going to get a lot of money for him. The problem with, I'm not saying Hoiberg's worse than those. If anything, he's better than them. Because he's better than them, he's going to get 35, 40 million pounds in transfer fee. Now, that's the sort of money that you need to plug back into the club to then say, right, now where do we need to strengthen? All right, we don't need another central midfielder. Let's buy a winger. Let's buy a striker. But I get what people are saying, that they want those deadwood out the door first. But how long has Hoiberg got left? Do you know, Haz?
By my calculation, I think he's got 2 years left. So I think it runs until 2025.
Hoiberg contract. I'm just having a look.
I believe it is 2025.
In 2016, he signed a 5-year contract for. No, that's it. Sorry, that's Southampton. It'd probably help if I got the right.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. So Pierre Hoiberg on the transfer market. Let's just have a look. Pierre Hoiberg appearances. Blah 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 blah. Where is it? Contract. So his contract expires in. Yeah, you're right. 2025. Now the worry you've got here is if you got £40 million on the table. Let's just use that as our round number. You get £40 million on the table right now for Hoiberg, who is going to be a sub player. Let's be brutally honest about this. He is going to be a sub player. You've got Sarr, Bentancur, Basuma, Maddison, and Lo Celso for me, who I would put all in front of him, right? Then you've got Skip, who's not going anywhere because he's homegrown. That's your sixth, right? If you can get 40 million from him now, or what happens like with all these other players, next summer we're sitting there going, right, he's only got a year, let's shift him. Then when clubs are coming in and going, there's £8 million for Hoiberg because he's got 1 year left, the same fans that want to keep him now are going to be going, oh, where's the money? Well, this is what the bigger clubs do. They sell their players, they recycle, like Liverpool just let Keita, Henderson, Fabinho, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita and Milner all go, right? Refresh. Yeah. We're like, oh my God, no, because what if we get an injury to Basuma? Well, that's what Sarr's there for. That's what Skip's there for. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, I'm ranting, but you know what I mean?
No, it's not a rant. It's logical. I mean, what you're saying. We've got the players there. I just think with 2 years left to go, this has to be the window where someone comes in, puts an offer in, and we accept. Simple as that. Anything over 25 or even 20, take it. See you later. Off the wage bill. But yeah, he goes. As simple as that. For me, look, if we're not going to sell players, then players like Ndombele, I think we need to loan out. Simple as that. 220k in wages. Loan him out for free as long as the club pay at least 80% of his wages. Simple as that for me. Yeah. Because him, let's be honest, he's not going to play football next season for Tottenham. Mm-hmm. All right. He's not going to be a part of the squad, not going to be a part of the team. Why should he take the piss and sit, in the reserves, turning up to training for an hour every day and pick up 220 grand? That is just absurd. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it from, if you actually deep it, what has Ndombele done in world football?
Listen, a few good games in a Champions League for Lyon 5 years ago, and a bit part player winning a Scudetto with Napoli.
This is the thing. This is the thing. I mean, based on his career, I would say Hoiberg's probably got more of a sell-on value than Ndombele at the moment.
I just wondered if he was talking about me or you. Who's got a red tongue? Best comment of the day, that one.
Strange one.
Best comment of the day. No, but listen, you're right. And I think the thing is, I do get it. Once we start getting better scouting, once we start seeing good window after good window, I think we'd be more inclined, or fans will probably be more inclined to say, yeah, we're happy for that player to go. But I just look at it and look at 8 to 9 central midfielders or players that can all play there. If someone wants 40 million for one of the ones sitting on the bench, I'm all over that. I'm all over that. I think there's not many I wouldn't sell. Obviously, the first 11, but other than that, I don't think there's many I wouldn't sell. A player I wanted to talk about that we haven't touched upon yet. Look, Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer. Look, all reports. Let me rewind. All reports today are saying that the deal is back on for Tosin Adarabioyo to Monaco. Right now, if Fulham lose Tosin Adarabioyo, they are going to need to replace him. They're going to need another centre back.
Yeah.
All the reports are saying that it is Eric Dyer that they want. I don't know why. Hopefully they're not listening to this when I say, what have they been watching? But Eric Dyer, 4 days to go, wouldn't that be a great move for all concerned? Like for Eric Dyer to go and, resurrect his career, so to speak, for 2 or 3 years at Fulham.
I think it ticks all the boxes, if I'm being honest. We get rid of a player that's no longer needed. We get some sort of money and a player coming our way if Tosin wants to come. And it's a win for Dyer as well. It's because it's a new start and he's going to be in London as well. He's not having to move to Manchester or, out to London or anything. So it's not much of an upheaval for him as well. So for me, I think it's a win-win situation all year round. But if it's true that the player has come out and said he wants to stay on and then move on a free next season, I just think that's a bit of a kick in the teeth because, the club have stuck by him for all these years, arguably, we've given him this opportunity to play for us for almost 10 years. And the best he could do is, well, I want to stick around for this season, not necessarily going to kick a ball, but I'll just go on a free next season.
Yeah.
I know he's not obligated to stay. I know that. But, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, if you ask me.
Listen, just quickly, Sam Jones. I mean, listen, you've just plucked one player out there from when we're talking about Liverpool refreshing. They've also got McAllister, who's a very, very good midfielder. They've also brought in Soboslai, who I don't know if anyone's seen him the last few games. Looks a real player. They've got Endo in, who is a good footballer. I also think Liverpool will still get another one in the next 4 days. So
they need one, yeah.
Yeah, they need one. But the thing is, they have refreshed. And if you remember, what was the criticism of Liverpool last year was that, they've not refreshed their midfield. You've got to keep doing it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
City this year, they've refreshed in midfield. Yeah, Gundogan's gone out. Kovacic has come in. Mahrez has gone out. Doku's come in. Laporte's gone out. Vardial's gone in. You've got to keep it fresh, right? Keep the opposition guessing and.
So I mean, prior to this season, we had the same defense for the last 50 years.
It felt like that.
But
it felt like that.
It did feel like that. Look, this is what top clubs do to stay ahead of the game. To mix it amongst the very best, you have to change. It's the same thing. You look at basketball in America. You look at National Baseball League, whatever it is, right? They bring in players through the draft. They sign players every season. They refresh.
Yeah, I think the key thing is, Alex Ferguson said it in his autobiography. That look, he said, I have to keep refreshing. He said, when I look around my changing room and see I've got a perfect squad, I look at it and go, okay, let me look again. What's not perfect? He was talking about at first glance, you go perfect, right? Now, hang on, he's nearly 32. This guy here, I probably could get an upgrade from. Refresh. Unfortunately, for Liverpool, they didn't do it, and look at them. Man City, they do refresh, and look at them, right? Yeah. Every year, like last summer, I remember it was, oh my God, they've let Zinchenko go, and Sterling go, and Jesus go. Ferran Torres has gone, and Leroy Sané went, and Aguero's gone, and yet they keep refreshing. Now, I know they're the other end of the scale because they're the best team in the world, but it still applies. You've got to refresh. And Eric Dyer, for me, is one of those now that I think the club should be having the word and saying, we can't make you go, but you're not going to play. And you're, what is he, 31?
No, he's just about to hit 30.
But you're 30 years of age. You're a footballer. You've got, 4 years left, maybe? If injuries can't chew, 4 or 5 years left, right? Listen, thanks for everything. You've given us a decade. Go on, look, you go. We'll get 5 million for you. Fulham will be able to pay your wages. I don't know. It just feels like it's a.
But isn't this another example of players at Tottenham Hotspur being comfortable at the club?
Sure.
Players. Most players who come to the club or used to come to the club under certain managers, or even before the Poch era, they'd come to the club. And it's like, oh, happy days. I get to get paid a nice amount of money, nice surroundings, live in London. Now it's all plush as well. Tottenham Hotspur training ground is everything you could imagine. Sorry, what was that? Henry Wright said Fred TV.
That's a really. Hang on, I'm sending this to Henry. This is just. I'm sure he's seen it.
Sorry, that's just fantastic. That's brilliant.
What's his name? There he is, Henry Wright. Henry Wright.
That's brilliant. Big yourself up, Henry Wright said Fred TV. That's fantastic.
It's just madness, like Henry
It
Wright.
is good. You get all sorts of creativity.
I don't mind them when they're funny like that. I think they're quite funny.
Brilliant. As long as there's nothing,
I just said it to Henry. Look, I was just like Henry Wright. Look, hang on. What should we see? What he says? Look, Jesus Christ.
He's seen it all now. He's seen it.
Yeah,
all.
it's just like whatever. Yeah, but. Yeah, look, I do think Eric Dyer needs to be one, and the last person I wanted to talk about was the guy that Ndombele.
Oh.
I think this is the most difficult one to get out the club.
Yeah,
and this is the problem when you keep giving players chance after chance after chance after chance, and fans keep saying things like he'll come good, he'll come good. Problem is, you keep them that long, their value drops, but the player's lifestyle doesn't, and they want to stay on 200 grand a week. What can you possibly do to get Ndombele out this football club?
Buy him a McDonald's franchise and say to him, there you go, you can now go and, become a manager at McDonald's. I don't know what look, I think
manager at McDonald's. He hasn't got the work ethic to manage a whole McDonald's branch.
No, more of a brunch rather than branch, but yeah.
Exactly.
Look, I think at the time everyone sort of bought into the hype. Everyone watched the YouTube videos. Everyone saw this player, absolutely balling out. We went and spent the money. And look, let's be honest, it's one of the most expensive flops in the Premier League. Barring probably Lukaku and Pogba, who were ridiculously, expensive, that come in and done jack all really. But look, I just think with him, it's something that we've got to learn from now, because it's happened. It's happened. We're not going to get rid of him this season by the looks of it. But what the club have to do, they need to change their ways. They need to look at this scenario and think, right, how can we avoid making this mistake again? And for me, they have to sit down and say, look, we need to do it via scouting. We need to look at players' attitude. We need to do a lot more when we're looking at a player. Quite clearly, when we went and bought Ndombele, no one looked at what his lifestyle was like, what his attitude was like. All they saw was that this guy was doing pirouettes and gliding past players in certain games, and thought, you know what, probably the closest thing to Dembele. It's an expensive mistake, but look, we can't go on.
You're right. We've got to make sure we don't do this again, right? And listen, guys and girls, we are going to go for 5 more minutes. So please, I'll ask for the only the second time in the show. Please smash that like button. We are currently on 378 likes. There's been over 500 the whole way through, so there should be at least 450 likes. I've got a couple of super chats, but also please do keep subscribing. There's been people have been very generous tonight. Let's get a couple more subscribers to round the night off, and get over to Haz at Southview Coys. And if any of the mods in the chat would be so kind to put Haz's link in the chat for the Southview Coys, that would be amazing. What number are you on, Haz? How many subscribers are we on now?
I think we're close to 1.3. So cool. We're getting 1.3K.
Let me know the exact number in a second, and I'll and we'll see if we can get everyone over there to get you to that number. Just going to read out some super chats. Orox Beats, big up again, always very, very, very generous. Has said he shouted this. This is how much he wants this to happen. He said, "I am praying to God that Brennan Johnson news is a smokescreen." Another one, dividing complete opinion, this lad. And as we've seen today, Brentford have had a £43 million, not euros, bid rejected, plus add-ons, plus a sell-on clause. Now imagine Levy negotiating a deal upwards that involves add-ons and a sell-on clause. And now imagine that there's 96 hours left. So this is going to be interesting.
TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. Blaine Dev has said our forward Let me start that again. Big up Blaine Dev, who was very kind earlier and gifted out 5 memberships. So thank you so much for that, Blaine Dev. has said our forward transfer strategy. Just sign players with Son in their name. Richarlison, Maddison, Johnson. Yes. Can we think of any other sons that we would like to sign? But yes, thank you very much, Blaine Dev. Much appreciated. And Orox Beats has come with another super chat. Very generous. Say, sorry for being late on this, Sava, but Hoiberg is better than Skip. And we will need him until AFCON is over. Rather sell Hoiberg in Jan when Benny is back and fit. Benny can play 6, 8 and 10. Listen, I hear you, but do people realise that the African Cup of Nations, I think the players missed like 3 games. I feel like we're talking as though the players in the African Cup of Nations missed like 12 games in the Premier League. Problem we've got with this Oryx Beats is, look, we've got so many midfielders. I think Hoiberg is he better than Skip? I don't see a lot between them, if I'm brutally honest.
I think he's got more experience than Skip in terms of, having played, some of the biggest teams in Europe, in Bayern Munich. Then he went to Southampton, come to us. Yeah, he's got more experience. But in terms of ability and what they can do on the pitch, I don't think they're far apart, if I'm being honest with you. Skip can certainly hold the fort and do what, Hoiberg does. So for me, there isn't much difference. But I just wanted to give you a quick quote on what Ange said in his press conference today. I'm not sure if you
go for it. Yeah, I did, but go for it, man.
Yeah, no, he spoke about Tanguy and Ndombele's future, and he said he's in the same boat with a few other players. I said the other day we've got 5 or 6 players more than we can name on a list. All these things come down to decisions that people make, whether it's individual players, whether it's myself. We've got 4 or 5 in that boat. I'm sure this week those kind of things will work themselves out. And he went to elaborate on Ndombele, saying he's still training, he's working hard at training, but that midfield area, we're going really well at the minute. You saw the guys who started today. Skippy's been really good. Pierre and Gio have been training well. He's been pretty competitive in that area. I think this week, a lot of things I expect to get resolved. So
hopefully
for me,
that, yeah.
I mean, look, if we're hanging on every word that Big Ange says, then we've got to believe what he's saying. There's got to be some sort of truth to it. He's not the sort of guy that comes out, smoke and mirrors and stuff. He says it how it is. So for me, hopefully it is the case. But honestly, I can't see it being more than a loan deal.
Yeah,
who comes in and pays that sort of wage for someone with his attitude and work ethic?
Mate, I agree with you completely. Just quickly before we round up, I need a number from you. How many away from 1.3 are we? Come on.
Right.
Come on, get this up on your screen. Let's do this.
Have a quick look.
Let's have a moment where we really get the community together. All right. By that I mean all the Spurs fans.
Right. Okay. So actually, we're more closer to 1.2. So it's 1.12 at the moment. If I put it up there, is it going to focus? Is it not going to?
I don't think it's going to focus.
It's not going to focus. But it's 1.12K at the moment. We're trying to get to 1,200. So
right, if we can get there's 429 people. Can we get maybe 50 people right now? The link is here. Look, it's here. On Mike Reyes has put it in here. If we could get 50 people to just go over right away and just it's nice, it's free, it's helping out people in the community. Haz is a wonderful content creator. Ashmatic and Marlon are great guys as well. They not only give you debates like this, Ashmatic spends his time, puts videos together, compilations. You can see that. So come on, smash that subscribe button for these guys, and keep subscribing to me if you haven't already. Listen, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully when I speak to Haz tonight, he lets me know that he's had lots and lots of subscribers. Haz, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No worries, no worries.
And listen, guys and girls, people are asking if we were going to talk about Fulham. We're going to talk about Fulham. I've got a show in the morning. So I've got a show starting in 12 hours and 2 minutes for my normal 10 a.m. show. And then we've got the Fulham versus Spurs watch-along. Haz, if you're about, feel free to jump on for watch-along.
I'll be about for that, 100%.
Cool. I'm starting tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. for the watch-along, 7:45 p.m. kickoff. So we'll do an hour's build-up, try and find a stream. That's going to be fun in the first instance. Big up to everyone. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the super chats. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. And as always, Come on, you Spurs.